Heat, pedal to the metal, is my favourite racing game. It is categorically a shut up and sit down recommends, and it might be one of the best games of this year. Heat is a racing game from sidekicks Asger and Daniel, the design team behind previous shut up and sit down favourite, Flamme Rouge. And in this game, players take the role of 1950s or 60s Formula One flesh test dummies, strapped into cars that are practically falling apart at the seams as they whip round a track as tangled as a string of intestines. To win, you want to slam your car across the finish line in first, no matter the consequences. And to do that, you're going to follow the same set of simple steps. Grab your hand of 7 cards from your deck, a deck made up of cards ranging from sluggish 0 moves to speedy 5s. Once everyone's peeped, we'll shift gears simultaneously, which shows how many cards of that hand you're playing this turn, from 1 all the way up to 4. The player in front goes first, slapping down their cards, moving their car, and discarding any cards remaining of their choice. They'll then end their turn by drawing back up to 7 cards and... oh, is that it? No, it seems kind of easy. That's too simple. Sounds a bit like... Does he know what he's talking about? Does he get it? It's kind of easy if you ask me. Just a game for like little babies or something? No, because there are 4 core pillars that hold Heat systems aloft. Corners, boosting, stress, and the game's namesake, Heat. I guess you could also count slipstreaming in there. That's kind of important too. And boosting and stress are like kind of the same thing, so putting them in 2 separate categories might not make that much sense. Cooldown's important too, but that kind of feeds into Heat, but it's kind of a separate thing. It kind of tugs on different systems. Pillar number 1 is corners. Why not just play all your cards bap, 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 bap every turn? Well, it's because of corners. These bends, they freaky. Whenever you go through a corner, you're going to count up the total value of all the cards that you played this turn and compare that number with the number of the corner you just passed. I just went 6 speed through a 4 corner. This surely has no consequence. Buddy, if you go round a corner too fast, you're going to take the difference in those numbers in Heat. Pillar number 2 is Heat. Heat cards are the beating hot core of Heat. This spot in the middle of the board is your engine, and it's where all of your Heat cards start the game. And if you ever run out of these cards and have to take one by going around a corner too fast, you'll spin out, resetting your car back to before the corner that caused you to take the Heat. That doesn't seem so bad, right? You're just losing a few spaces in the race, and guys, it's really bad. The main villain here isn't the lost spaces, it's the fact that each Heat card is useless, gumming up your hand of cards and constricting your options. These Heat cards cannot be discarded normally, and they cannot be played. So 1 Heat taken represents a card added to your discard pile that's going to get cycled into your deck and cause you grief later on. Right, okay, simple. Just never take Heat because you always know exactly what cards you're going to play each turn. You can just predict when the corners are coming and take them nice and smoothly, right? Right? Pillar number 3 is stress and boosting. You've got stress cards in your deck, and they're not great either. Just like Heat, you can't just bin them, but unlike Heat, you can play them. Oh, well, in that case, stress doesn't seem so bad at all. I mean, how fast are you going to go when you play a stress card? You don't know. You don't know how fast you're gonna go when you play a stress card. Stress cards will have you flop other cards from the top of your deck until you find one with a speed value, and that's how fast you're now going. Buckle in, on top of everything else that you've played this turn. And this is hilarious if you're on a straight and hoping for a 4 but get a 1 and crunch forward, but it's equally funny when you go around a corner at full tilt when you are hoping to take it nice and smooth. Goodness, these stress cards are just peachy. The grit in the wheels that relies on you trusting or knowing that your deck is going to spit out the right digit at the right time. And they're thematic too. They represent the momentary lapses in concentration as your driver whizzes round the track. Boosting, though, is an entirely different matter, because every single turn you're given the opportunity to boost your car, essentially doing what you just did with stress, spaffing cards from your draw pile until you get a move card. You'll then move that far, but it costs you a Heat every time. At first, this just seems like a crazy idea, taking a Heat at a chance at some extra movement, but that's the thing, in the hands of a skilled player, it isn't chance, or you can boil the probability down low enough that it's a pretty good chance that you'll get exactly what you want at exactly the right time. And that extra movement can make all the difference in a game that is so solely focused on racing, on winning, on speed, on being the person who crosses the finish line first. But you're still taking Heat here. It hurts to go fast. You're pushing your cars to the limit. So what if there was a way to get that speed for free? So pillar number 4 is slipstreaming, the final way to get a touch of extra speed. If you end your turn behind or next to a rival car, you'll get an extra 2 movement for free. And that seems like a little bit of a boost, right? But what if I told you that slipstreaming in this game is utterly pivotal? Because slipstreaming isn't a physical card that you play on your turn, its value isn't counted when calculating if you take heat through a corner, meaning that a little bit of slipstreaming can give you the exact boost you need to clear a corner without taking any heat at all, which makes all the difference. And often slipstreaming lets you play single low cards in cozy low gears, which lets you access cooldown, the final mechanic. This number here will let you return heat in your hand back into your engine, provided you're in second or first gear. Slipstreaming acts as this little game of prediction, an icing of nuance on top of a beautiful cake that allows these savvy players to get an edge on their opponents, coasting through corners, hugging the racing line as they go into the final straights of a race, as well as delicately rubber banding the game so that being in pole position might be a little undesirable as you give up the opportunity to slip on by. These hastily defined pillars create a gorgeous puzzle of tempo, hand management, and player interaction, but all sitting on top of this tantalizing bed of risk. It's a game of continually taking chances that your car won't crap out at the worst possible moment, so that you can shave every single second off of your time. Now that's all mechanical, right? It's numbers, it's ideas, but what elevates heat to the heights it reaches are the little touches, the motions, the feeling. Shifting a gear stick up to go faster, sliding into a nice low gear so you can cool off your engine after putting pedal to the metal. Taking a big risky corner and ripping those heat cards from your engine as you burn rubber. Cars screaming across the finish line as everyone squeezes each last drop of juice from their engine. When I was younger, I used to live really close to my grandparents. They literally lived down the road from us. And I would go and see my granddad and he would often be watching Formula One. He still loves Formula One to this day. And I don't really understand why. For all of the speed that they are actually going, those cars somehow manage to feel slow. They go round and round and round this track with minute shifts in position and tempo that I never quite understood. And after playing Heat pedal to the metal, I still don't get it. And you know why? It's because Heat doesn't feel like Formula One looks, or texturally is. It feels like what you want Formula One to feel like. It feels like racing. And this feeling is sold in the game itself, but it's also sold with the production on show here. Vincent Dutrait's art gilds these dirty, cramped cockpits with a lick of personality, and each of the boards is the most postcard-ready version of the countries they depict, and the motion that's present in the ascending values of these cards just brings so much to that feeling of speed. And this is all great, right? This is a beauty of a system, enticing to puzzle out in every single game. But what elevates this box to glittering heights, what lodges it firmly in my collection, are these modules. This is what gives Heat that extra spritz of longevity. Once you've taken a few test drives around its various courses, you can start tweaking your experience with changes to the core loop. The first and biggest of these modules is the garage, where players draft a build for their car from a whopping stack of possible cards. You'll get 3 of these, and each one will introduce a tweak to the core mechanics or add entirely new possibilities, giving players personality, flavor, and bravado in their approach to each race. And for a twist more variability, the weather module gives each section of the track its own bonus, pushing the game into more strategic territory as you assess the lay of the land before zipping across it, shifting your tempo to make use of a bit of bonus slipstreaming or pinching your way around a newly cinched corner. And tying all of this together is my favorite way to play the game, the championship system, where you string 3 or 4 games together in a row, tweaking your cars between each race. This is a slow burn build where you react to the challenges set by each unique race and gain one-time use sponsorship cards by impressing the press, taking risky corners to show off. And this is the mode in which I enjoyed Heat the most, a sandwich of games where everyone learns a little bit more about the game and a little bit more about each other, as all is to play for until the very final lap. And this is normally the part of the review where I'd reach for something more, some kind of tricksy, nuanced thing to talk about, but no. This is just a flatly brilliant core system with a bunch of extra stuff added to keep it on your shelf for longer. It's great. Shut Up and Sit Down recommends Heat, pedal to the metal. The only possible downsides I can think of are a slightly clumsy manual that might make it hard to resolve any possible edge cases you have, and just the fact that it clocks in at 60 quid. It's a little dear, but it's acceptable for me. This game has absolutely gorgeous production and has been played more than enough times to justify that price tag, and that's the end of this review. If you want to hear me and Quinns talk more about exactly what we love about this game, you can check out the Shut Up and Sit Down podcast. There'll be a link on the screen. We put them out every week, and I think they're pretty good. Other than that, that's the review. This game's fab. Check it out. And if not, just enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great December, and see ya very soon.
Wait, hold on. Don't have a nice day. Wait, well, no, do have a nice day. There's just something I need to tell you about first. If my estimates are correct, you're watching this around the same time as the Shut Up and Sit Down donation drive. And this is the time of year when we ask you for your support. There'll be a video on the channel that will more accurately sum up these thoughts if you want to give that a watch. I think it's quite a fun video. But here's the skinny. We need your support to keep this site going, and if you enjoy watching Shut Up and Sit Down, then you should donate. I couldn't work for this company without your support. I wouldn't have this job without your support. I wouldn't be making videos for the channel without your support, and it means the world to me. And in the donation drive video, I talk a lot about wanting to repay the favor that you have paid me. I hope I'm doing a good job, and if you think I am, then maybe support the channel. It will help us make better content and more of it for you. We've got a ton of great ideas for what we want to do next year, but we need your support to make that happen. So you can check out the website, you can check out our Patreon, and consider a donation in either of those sources. I won't keep you for too long. I just wanted to put this at the end of the video. Check out the Shut Up and Sit Down donation drive video. It's on the channel now. Thank you so much for watching. And if you do support the channel, thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting us. It means a lot. Thank you. Have a great day. You can go back to having a great day now. You can go back to having a great December. You can tell that I'm recording this on the day of the edit because I've got headphone hair. Those sound effects don't get put in the video for free. You know, you got to pay the toll in hair. Have a great Christmas, everybody. See you soon.